9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chumps. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV.
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
And now your host.
Helps if I bring myself in. I was ready. Believe it or not. Good evening, fellow Fox fans. How are you? I'm having one of those days today. Me and Ted don't ever work with children or technology. That's what I say. And how are we doing? It's Tuesday. It's the European show, and this is Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you want, you can follow us live in the normal places. YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, and please give us a subscribe. Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, and Twitter and Periscope at the moment, it is at Leicester TID. And if you want to listen to this on catch up, you can do so on your favourite podcast platform, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, and Google. And like I say, if you are watching us, or even if you're not watching us there on the old YouTube, please go to the channel Leicester Till I Die TV and give us a quick subscribe. We would be really, really grateful. It's Europe. How are we feeling? Nervous? Ooh. Well, we didn't concede in the away leg. We didn't score. It's all to play for. It literally is sudden death. Technically, this could be the last European show that we are going to be doing. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope we're here for a few more weeks. We're going to find out on Thursday night, because it is 8 o'clock on Thursday at the KP, and you can pick it up on BT Sport, Radio Leicester, and lcfc.com free of charge if you want to listen to it. That's Thursday at 8 o'clock, and we're going to have a few bitten nails, I think. Let us know your thoughts. How are you feeling? Nervous, worried, confident? We're going to do it. Ooh, tell me we are, please tell me we are. Right, let me bring in, we've got a very, very special guest, and I'm going to apologise now because I've been calling him the wrong name all day. But for those of us of a certain age, Mr. Paul Reid, midfielder, played for Leicester 1986 to 1992, 162 appearances. That's not bad going. And not only that, he scored 21 goals as well. So say good evening to you, Paul. How are you doing?
Hi, you okay? I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very, very good. Thank you very much. And we shall bring in our normal European chum, Josh. Good evening, Josh, a.k.a. Tyson Fury, of course.
Good evening, chaps. Hope you're both okay.
Yeah. Nervous, are you?
A little bit. I think it'd been nice to go into the second leg with an away goal. It's always ideal to sort of put yourself in that position, but like you said at the start, it's complete shootout now. After watching the first leg, I believe it could go either way.
Yeah. I mean, Paul, I was looking earlier about the away goals. Do the away goals count? And yes, they do. For matches played under the knockout system, if the two teams involved in a tie score the same number of goals over the two legs after 90 minutes, the team which scores more away goals qualifies for the next stage. So, Paul, we've not even got extra time or penalties. So it literally is all down to the wire.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, like the game last week, to go away and not to concede is it's a really good team performance to not concede. Because if you look at the stats, they've averaged, I think, probably 3 goals per game during this season. So for Leicester to go away there and not concede, I think it could be a major factor for the second leg. The players should be buzzing for this second leg now. Obviously, getting back after 0-0, going away there, beating Villa 2-1 with a good performance. I watched the game in the house, although I'm a Villa fan, I must admit. But it was great. Two teams trying to play football. Leicester were the better team on the day. So going into the next game now on Thursday, they've got nothing to lose. I think. It's one of those where they'll be looking forward to it, and the game's really set up for them to go and produce and do the business and hopefully get a win to see them into the next round.
I mean, Josh, it was a good performance. It was the performance, and I said in the post-match show that we hadn't had against Wolves, we hadn't had against Brighton, we hadn't had against Liverpool for the first 75 minutes, or against Prague. Suddenly, and we're not doing it often enough for me, suddenly we put a good performance in. If we do that on Thursday, I'd feel a lot more confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you say, the result performance against Villa was spot on. For me, first half I thought we were outstanding. Second half we dropped off a little bit, but purely because I think that Villa got that early goal in the second half means we had to maybe look at defending obviously a little bit deeper, just maybe sitting back just slightly rather than going for it a bit more. But yeah, overall, mate, I thought Sunday were absolutely outstanding. There were certain partnerships. I know you've pointed it out. You were impressed with Luke Thomas and Harvey Barnes. I thought they were absolutely outstanding Sunday. Really were linking up well. Seemed to know where the next pass will go into, who were going to make the runs and who were going to drop in. It were really good, man. Like you say, hopefully a performance like that, as well as, like you say, seeing out a second half after conceding that early goal, it can only breed confidence going into what is a massive game for us on Thursday. So hopefully it carries on.
Few comments coming in here. Facebook user, stick your name at the end if you're on Facebook and you're not clicked on to StreamYard so we can see who you are. We are confident this should be a must-win match for us. Well, we want to go through. We've got to win it. Good evening, Stephen. Nice of you to join us. How the devil are you, sir? Facebook user here, think we'll get the result to see us through. Though we did not utilise our chances in the first leg, I don't think we did really. Stephen Collins, quietly confident, hope they get it right from the get-go. Well, they need to. We need the good. It is all about the start in any match, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but again, if you look at the game last week, the chances they had, I think Harvey Barnes had a couple of chances, or Brighton had a shot early doors from good play from Harvey again. So they'll be looking forward to this game, knowing that they're going to create chances. And I think Prague had a few, half chances, not really created that lot. So I think it's a great game for them, and all the players should be buzzing and looking forward to it. And I think it is important to set the stall out early doors, get the possession game going, get Maddison on the ball, get Barnes on the ball, get Vardy running in behind. To get an early goal, then that'll stand them in good stead then for the rest of the game. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, I was a bit like you, Josh. Quietly pleased when we drew Slavia Prague out of the hat. But then when I started to look at them, and the argument is, well, it's only the Czech league and all this, that, and the other. I don't care. Confidence and winning games breeds confidence. They've not lost in the league all season, and they still haven't, in the last games. Yet we had a good win over Villa. Sorry, Paul. We had the good win over Villa. Slavia, and I haven't spelt it wrongly. That is the local spelling. Got an away draw. They're tougher, I think, than I gave them credit for.
I think they are. I mean, Paul's right, and he's spot on for what he said at the start. I think even coming back to the King Power and having not conceded a goal is as vital as maybe me saying, well, it'd have been nice to get an away goal to bring back to the King Power. I thought it was going to be trickier than what a lot of people maybe thought it was going to be, purely for the fact that after doing research into them and stuff, and fixtures wise, like you say, they've not lost a game, and as you say, they drew again at the weekend. Albeit, I think the team they drew against at the weekend's 14th place in the league, so they're coming into it off the back of not a great result for them in hindsight, really, with them being top of the league. So hopefully, be able to capitalise on that. I think you'll see a much better performance this leg than the first leg. That's for sure.
I mean, Paul, the worst case scenario is them getting an early goal.
Yeah, that's the same in every football game. Those who get the early goal, it's always going to be difficult for the opposite team. But the way that they defended away from home, again, what I said, if they can get the ball players on the ball early and get that upper hand on them, like Madison, as I said, Harvey Barnes, as I've said, it all depends who plays on the right hand side. Obviously, the weekend, I think Pereira played, further forward on the right hand side, and he's a right back, so he may bring Albrighton back in, to add a little bit more finesse going forward, But again, if they do happen to concede early, I don't think Brendan will panic, because obviously I've known Brendan for a while, obviously with my Swansea connections.
Yes.
He won't go away from his principles. He'll get the ball down. He'll get the players on the ball. He'll want to move it quickly, and he'll want to create chances. He'll want to get, as I said previously, he'll want to get Harvey Barnes on the ball, going at defenders. He'll want to get Madison in that little number 10 hole where he can slide passes in, or even, as he proved the weekend, where he scored against the Villa, which was a great goal. So if they do concede, I don't think he'll panic. I think he'll stick to his principles. He'll get the players on the ball, and I think Josh had said earlier on about the young fullback, Luke. Was it Luke Thomas? I thought he was excellent against. He was excellent against Villa. So that's good. Obviously, they've got rid of Ben Chilwell, and then another young player comes up through the academy. But I think he'll stick to his guns, and he'll be wanting to go and get an early goal, and won't take any prisoners. I think.
I mean, I say good evening. Must say good evening there to Zaki, all the way from Nairobi. This is water. Can I just say not gin? I wish. Zaki from Nairobi in Kenya. Good evening, Zaki. Thanks for joining us. A good evening to Darren as well, and to Brett and Mrs. Ahern. A very good evening to you, and a special good evening to Paul. Hi, Paul. Great player for us, Lee from Anstey. So a bit of a special hello for you there.
Thank you, Lee.
Paul. But Josh, I mean, it was the point there that Paul made very, very well, is that Brendan reminds me, and I'm old enough to remember sort of Liverpool in the 70s, and Brendan's of that mould. He doesn't panic if we do go behind. Like Paul said, he sticks to his game plan, and if we do go one behind, I'm never sat there, and I was a bit like this in the Championship winning season. I'm not sat there thinking, that's it.
I think another thing as well I've noticed, I know when Brendan first come in at the time, some fans were not disappointed with the style of football he played, but because a lot of the time at the beginning it were side-to-side passing, and we didn't really seem to be going anywhere. I think that's completely been eradicated this season. I think the patient approach that we have adopted and he's built on over the season. Then now, like exactly what you said, I don't think, me personally, I don't panic if we go goal down anymore, because we'll always create chances. And like Paul said, with the likes of Maddison, Barnes, Vardy's always got a goal in him, no matter how he's playing throughout the game. So you are right. I don't think. It's not the same feeling as under someone such as Claude Puel, really, when it was the football at times. We were keeping loads of the ball, but we weren't really going anywhere with it. So, but yeah, Brendan, it's evident with the way we're playing, the results we're picking up, his style of play, it suits us down to the ground now. And whereas we do prefer a more possession-based game against the majority of teams nowadays, we've always got that counter-attack as well if we need to. So it's looking the best it's done for a long time.
I suppose, Paul, and you were with us sort of 6 years, and I think you personally went through a lot of managers, but there was a lot of managers came and went while you were at Leicester, and obviously every new manager brings different styles, and I suppose as Leicester fans, we always remember the Ranieri style, the counter-attacking, exciting football, but you have to change, you have to evolve, don't you, as a team?
Yeah, you obviously the manager is, every manager's got a different way of playing. They've got the different styles, but with Leicester, they do like to get the ball down and play. But they've always got that added threat of, if Prague come say Thursday night and want to defend quite high, they'll just put the ball in behind for Vardy to run onto, because he'll run all day, and and they'll create chances like that. But you do have to change. You have to manage with the players that you've got. So sort of adapt your style. Obviously, when I first played it with Brian Hamilton, which back in the day was a bit like we didn't know really what we were doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
David Pleat come in. A lot of people didn't really like him, but his style of play, with the likes of Gary Mack in centre mid, we brought in Mike Newell, David Cross, moved me to the right hand side. So we had to get the ball down and we had to play football. Brian Little was a bit different when he came in. Yes, at times you could try and play, but he was very strict on his defensive organisation, so you don't concede. And obviously, when he came in, the likes of Tommy Wright, Kevin Russell, who else was there? Steve Cloud, not Steve Cloud, I can't remember, but he had a different style. We don't concede. We'll get the ball forward early. We will play long. So with that, with Leicester, they have got that option of going a bit longer. So Brendan's probably watched the game over and over and over again. Got his analysts to say, all right, this occasion during the game they do squeeze up. If they do, they'll say, right, such and such a minute, they'll squeeze up, bang, put it in behind. Vardy will run onto it, and we'll get Maddison, Barnes coming in from the left hand side, and whoever. So they'll adapt to what team they're playing for. So probably they might come and defend deep. If they do, great. Leicester will have a load of possession, go sideways, keep the ball, wait for the opposition defence to open up. Then they get their little slidey passes in then for Vardy making runs, and Barnes does it really, really well from the left-hand side. He'll stay out wide, then he'll make a out-to-in run, as we like to call it, and he'll get in. He got in a couple of times against Villa doing the same thing,
Darren, good evening again. Thanks for the comment, Darren. I think we can only say from that he prefers the 4-1-4-1. That is the formation, Josh, that seems to work best for us. I'm going to ask you this because we did have Pierre on the right-hand side ahead of Castagna. Maybe that was, some people suggested that was ready for Grealish had he played. Apparently it was announced on FIFA or something beforehand, people taking him all out of the fantasy teams, that Grealish wasn't going to play. But Josh, who are you going to have on that side? Are you going to have Ricardo, Pierre, and today, or Brighton? Are you going to bring him back in? Because obviously he had the rest of, had the game off and he's rested. Dare I say, what would you go for on that right-hand side?
I'd probably stick with Ricardo. Personally, I know it's a shame, and as we've said many times so far this season, it's a shame to have to drop Albrighton because he's been absolutely outstanding for us so far this season. I hope we go for Ricardo. I'm not going to say under because every time wanted Under to start. He's not started. But I get from Sunday, it shows.
And every time we said we were going to score from a corner, we didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To be fair though, it wouldn't surprise me if he starts Ricardo and Albright, and he maybe gives Castagna a rest, because we know he's just coming back from a longish injury anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe Ricardo goes right back and Albrighton starts right mid, right wing. So, but either way, I'm really impressed with Ricardo on Sunday. We know he can play there. Maybe Brendan looked at it and thought, well, when Justin comes back, albeit it's going to be well into next season now, maybe it's his way of getting all three of them, Justin, Castagna, and Ricardo in the same team. Maybe giving Ricardo a start at right wing for you don't know, rest of this season, see how he gets on. But yeah, I thought you were outstanding. Him and Castagna as well on Sunday. I thought their link-up play were brilliant. At times, Villa defence didn't really know what to do, because they're both playing as right backs, right wing backs. Usually, anyways, they both do. They're always looking to overlap each other, and it worked really well. So I was really impressed with it.
Paul, I have to pinch myself sometimes when I'm doing these shows and we're having these conversations that this is Leicester we're talking about, and we're in the position about, do we drop a player of like Ricardo's standard, because the squad itself, and it's had to this season with all the injuries we had at the start, but the squad itself is in great shape. Yeah,
it is, and obviously as a manager as well, you'll be looking at the players, and you'll be thinking, right, these done really well the weekend, but the players I left out have been doing well as well. So it's one of them, what do I do? But as I said before, he'd have analysed the game again, gone through it with his analysts, and he'll pick the team to go and have a go at him. And which is great. It's a great game. I can't wait to watch it. Hoping that he's going to, as he said in his interview, it's set up great for him to go and perform and to go and get the win. And fingers crossed they'll be able to do it.
Rob, can I just say, don't give up your day job. It's over. Yeah. You've been waiting all season to say that, Rob, haven't you? I couldn't wait for him to kick the first ball over the bar, so I could say similar. Darren here, I agree. We've looked the most balanced all season in the last game with Ricardo and Castagna. We had two attacking wings for a change. Brett, I can see where you're coming from with this, Brett, and I'm going to ask you this, Josh. Even though he didn't deserve it, he may drop Thomas to the bench. We do know Castagna can play on the left-hand side of defence and bring Ricardo back if he is thinking of bringing Albrighton. But they did on both those sides have, as Darren said there, probably the first time in a long, long time where I've seen two sets of players play so well together. Thomas and Harvey Barnes down the left, Castagna and Ricardo down the right. It would be a shame to break those up, wouldn't it?
It would be, and like I say, as I said earlier, especially Luke Thomas for me on Sunday, he was my man of the match. I thought up against a tricky player like Traore can be. What I noticed about, especially in the first half, as soon as Traore got the ball, Thomas was right in behind him, didn't give him any space to turn at all, and whether he gave away like a little foul here and there in the decent area, it definitely stopped the danger that Traore he could oppose to us, really. I think it's that. I've been impressed with Thomas more or less every game he's played. He's still a young lad, so he's going to make mistakes. But I thought Sunday, I thought his performance was absolutely. It showed the level of maturity that he's got now from starting games last season up till now. And I mean, he's not played. You wouldn't say he's played a lot of football for us this season. I know he's been used in, like you say, Europa League and Cup games and Premier League games here and there. But, we're justing out now. We are going to see a lot more of him. But Sunday's performance, it bodes well for his development and his career for us, hopefully. But, yeah, going back to your point, mate, definitely both sides, as the comments said there, it was really well balanced. Defensively, I thought we were absolutely outstanding. The defensive work from the midfield, from Ricardo and Barnes. They both got back and tracked back well. So it'd be a shame to break it up. And like I say, hopefully I'd still have Thomas at left back, Ricardo right wing, and Castagna right back. But I think maybe he'll bring Albrighton back in and drop. To be fair, yeah, maybe drop Castagna left back or keep Thomas in and put Castagna on the bench.
It's a nice position to be in, though, having those choices to make, which we didn't at the start of the season. We didn't have many fit players. Paul, as a next player, I mean, a second leg of a two-legged game, or even like a replay after the first game, where it's got to be decided on the night. I mean, it's not even going to, it could go to extra time if it's 0-0. It could go to penalties if it's 0-0. But does it put extra pressure on the players? Do the players, feel that extra pressure?
Yeah, there's going to be a certain amount of pressure on, obviously, whatever game you're going to play in. But going into the second leg, the players will feel a little bit of pressure, but they should think, right, we've got them back here now. It's our own pitch. Obviously, the pitch they played on, listen to Brendan's comments after, the pitch was a bit sticky. It was a bit bobbly. They weren't good in possession, as good as they were. So getting them back to the King Power now, obviously they can get their passing game going. There will be a little bit of pressure, but again, no disrespect, but they're playing with no fans there, so that pressure's dropped a little bit. So they can, it's weird, really, but they'll be able to try things without getting a crowd groan or someone shouting or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So
yes,
it is a great game for them. They will be looking forward to it. I've played in, I think once when I was at Oldham, we played Brentford in the FA Cup. We drew 1-1, went to Brentford's game. The draw was already done for the next game. So whoever won the replay, we were playing Chelsea at home, which was the likes of Vialli, Desai, Dennis Wise, Babayaro, Zola, Toriandre Flo. So us going away from home, we were buzzing. That ended up going to penalties. I think John Sheridan scored the winning penalty. It's a funny one because the Oldham fans always comment about it. He took the penalty, kicked the ground, and I think the dirt hit the net before the ball did.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where we knew that we were going to go and we were going to win that second leg. So it's a bit the same. But Leicester should be looking forward to it. They get on their own pitch, get the ball moving, create chances early doors. Obviously, with Harvey Barnes, I played with his dad, Paul, at Bury. Great goal scorer in his time. Not the quickest, not as quick as his son, but knew where the goal was. And I think with Harvey now, I think he's been told Brendan needs to add goals to his game, which he's doing, and he's also creating chances as well. So as an English person living in Wales, I can't wait for the England squad to come back out and for him to get into that team. But obviously, he's got to do the business and keep going. For Leicester, I think with him as well, I think what I should have been told when I played was not to become predictable, playing on the right-hand side and being left-footed. Where with Harvey now, he's got, no disrespect to the coaches I had, but they've got coaches who are a bit more intelligent, know a bit more of the game, study a little bit more. So they'll be on to him, listen, Harvey, you can't keep coming inside. You have to go on the outside. You have to release it at times. And so that can only stand in good stead for himself, for the boy, and for Leicester and for England.
I think we've seen this season the change in him, how he's developed, from he's got goals in him this season, which he didn't necessarily have last season. Darren, you said that extra time, if it's 1-1 or 2-2, as away goals only count after extra time, I am told. Do we know for sure what the rules are? We did. I think you were possibly late coming in, but just to reiterate, and this was what was on the UEFA site earlier. So this was on the UEFA.com. Again, just to reiterate, and I presume this is correct because it was on the UEFA site. So unless they've changed the rules recently, if it is 1-1, 2-2 at 90 minutes, that's the end of the game. Which I think it usually is, because I don't know when we played, with my memory of away goals is the Wimbledon in the League Cup when Simon Grayson got it. I don't know whether My memory is going, and I'm feeling very old after you named all those players, Paul, because I remembered most of them. But Josh, this was the first game. Possession there. We had more possession, but we didn't have that many shots. We only got one shot on target, and this is a bugbear of mine. We've got to be getting shots on target, and sometimes I know Brad doesn't like stats, but it does wind me up that a Premier League team goes through a game and has one shot on target. That's got to improve Thursday night.
Yeah, I think we're all expecting a bit more from us in the last leg, to be honest with you. I think we started the game all right, and then the second half, I felt it weren't very good at all. And as you say from the stats there, only one shot on target. It were a bit of a drab affair. It's frustrating, but I think a lot of these players, they've never obviously gone to a place like Czech Republic and had to play football there. So that it was new to a lot of them. As Paul said, the pitch, from what we heard and from what we saw, weren't really great, so we couldn't really get his passing game going that well. It obviously suited them a lot more being their home stadium, so they obviously, I think, going by the stats, like you say, they created a lot more than what we did, and probably rightly so, really. I expect more of us, and I think everybody does this leg with us being at home, and I think playing on our pitch and on a much better surface is going to suit us down to the ground.
And Paul, we've got no Perez because he's out injured. We've got no Inacho because he is not suspended, but he is ineligible because of bookings. Vardy's got to be on song because we haven't got any other option really.
Yeah, but again, as Josh said earlier on, with Vardy in the team, you've always got a chance of a goal out of nothing. For his, what I like about him, I've watched him a load of times. He scored so many goals in the Premier League, but his work rate is second to none. He'll harass players. He'll put them under pressure. He'll leave his foot in. He'll leave his elbow in. So he's always likely to create something even on his own. And with him, with his runs he makes in behind, defenders don't like that. You ask any defender in the world, what's your pet hate? Oh, I hate someone who keeps running in one channel, running in the other. And the one time he'll go, the centre-back won't go with him, and he'll be in. Yeah. And that's, as I said earlier on, that's what Leicester have got in their armour. If they are struggling, they will put it in the channel. They will pop it in because they'll know he'll get it, he'll reach it, he'll bring players into the game, and then they'll have little runners then with the likes of Maddison. Again, I've mentioned Tielemans, who I think is a class player, and Harvey Barnes again coming in from that left-hand side. So they have got that armour up there with Jamie, because he'll work his. I was going to say something then. He'll work very hard, and he'll always.
This is live, remember.
And he'll always put opposition players under threat. And if you watch him as well, sometimes he'll chase a ball, and he'll walk back. And he'll walk back, and he'll walk. Then all of a sudden, bang! He'll come alive because Leicester have won possession, as Josh said. They can play on the counter attack, so he's always ready for that quick ball from the back going forward, and he'll be onto it like a flash. So,
yeah. And Josh, it's almost like, in a way, Vardy takes two defenders out, which releases space for Madders if he's fit. And Rob's just asked the question there off camera: is any news on him? As far as I know, he's fine. I've not heard that he's not. And obviously Harvey Barnes as well. So you can't like Paul said, Vardy can have a rubbish 89 minutes. He only needs the 1 minute to get the goal.
Exactly, and even games such as you look back at against like the likes of Sheffield United away this season, where Vardy weren't really in the game, and then last minute Maddison sends him through 1-on-1 and he wins the game. So you're always going to get that. You're always going to get out with Vardy no matter what. I mean, to be honest with you, he scored plenty of goals for us this season, but I can't really think of many games, it probably sounds a bit unfair, where he's been absolutely outstanding, if you know what I mean. I know he's scored plenty of goals for us, and that's what he's going to be remembered for. But I think it's because I listened to something on the radio earlier, and they were saying, are we seeing the decline in Vardy? Personally, I don't think not. I think he's just added more to his game. I think since Brendan Rodgers has come in, we've seen maybe a different side tactically to Vardy's gameplay anyway. He's making a lot more intelligent runs now. Maybe he's preserving more energy as well, because he don't really seem to be harrying as much. He seems to be a lot of sort of calculated risk with him, when he knows when to press and when not to really waste his energy as such. But it's, you look at it, Harvey Barnes is banging in goals, Maddison's banging in goals, so it's not like we're relying on one sort of player anymore. We know replacing Vardy in the future is going to be an absolute nightmare, because there's not many players like him around. I don't think I'll ever see maybe another player with his sort of tactical side of play ever again in my lifetime, especially someone that's going to score as many goals as he has for us. So, but it seems like we've developed a way of play now where he's bringing in other players, he's making intelligent runs, and as you said, Chris, I think for a first goal on Sunday, he sort of made a run and it dragged two Villa defenders away, which gave Maddison that space to get his shot away. So little things like that. Sometimes it goes a bit under the radar, but it's just as important as an assist for me.
Yeah, Paul. I mean, I'm very much a glass half empty guy. I always have been. I think it comes from being a Leicester fan all my life. It is a roller coaster. But I mean, look at the table at the moment. I mean, we're up there in third place. No Slavia Prague doing ahead, but we know we're no slouches ourselves, and we could go all the way in this, couldn't we?
Exactly. I think that's what, if you're a Leicester fan, if you thought this season I would be second in the league, in the Europa League, got a great chance of getting into the next round with a home game, you'd snap your hands off. You really would. But again, it's just about how they start. I think on Thursday they've got to start bright. They've got to start quick. They've got to pass the ball around, and they've got to utilise the players that they've got in their team. Feed the wingers early. Let them go. Let them have a go at players. Again, with what Josh has said about the young boy Luke Thomas, I thought he was excellent against Villa. And every time, I forgot his name. I'm a Villa fan now. The winger got the ball.
Harvey Barnes.
Yeah,
Traore.
Sorry.
The Villa game. So every time he got the ball, he was right up his backside. He was forcing back, didn't give him chance to turn, and left his boot in a couple of times, which I like. So I think it all matters how they start. They've got to start quick. They've got to get the ball, and they've got to move it around quickly. And then when they get in the 1v1 situations, is just have a go and don't be frightened. If you give the ball away, great. They've got that mentality now. If they do give the ball away, like he did at Liverpool, he'll install in these teams. They'll want to go and win it back, like he did at Swansea. As soon as they lose it, they'll try and hunt it. They'll try and win it back as quick as they can, and then they'll keep probing and keep probing and keep probing.
Yeah, Josh, it is as Paul just said there, a case of which Leicester turn up, and I did say post match after the Villa game, would the real Leicester stand up? If the Leicester that played Villa turns up, it can be a completely different game to the Leicester that played Wolves turns up. We need to get it right from the start, don't we?
Yeah, and I truly believe that we will. I think this season more than any, really, when big games that are mattered and they've come up, Brendan. I think for me, Brendan so far this season, he's got it absolutely spot on. You look at results against the bigger. We always say this, the bigger six, so to speak. And fair Liverpool beat us once, but other than that, our record this season against the bigger teams on the big occasions has been outstanding. So it's not going to be easy, but I think we'll definitely get it right on Thursday. I'm expecting us to. I'm not giving away my prediction just yet, but I'm expecting us to. I'm expecting us to win. Might not be comfortably, but I think we'll definitely offer a lot more this leg than we did in the last leg for sure.
Yeah. Paul, I don't think you saw the game live, and I don't know how much it showed up on the highlights, and I'm going to come to to Josh with the same question in a minute. A lot of people are very critical of the referee, and as I've put here, and we'll remember this, brother from another mother, old Remy Harel in 1997, the City Madrid game, and he was never ever seen after that again. Mark, agreed. Did he have that bad a game?
I've seen some of the decisions that he made, and I second what Brendan said. He wasn't the best, to be honest. I've seen the sending, the yellow card in Yacho, absolutely nothing in it whatsoever. So it's one of them. It's always the same. You know, when you go away from home, you are going to get these referees who, you know, I wouldn't say sent aside for the home team, but you know, there's one or two fouls that he let go and didn't punish him. I've seen a couple of kicks on Harvey Barnes that, you know, didn't really go down well. So he wasn't the best. But again, as a football player, you can't, or a manager, you can't go around and blame the referee. You know, you've just got to get on yourself. I think they did have one really good chance. I think that might have been the one shot on target where Harvey Barnes has gone through one-on-one with the keeper, a couple of defenders around him, and I think he's tried to nutmeg the keeper, where I've seen him score goals by opening his body, whipping it with his right foot into the far corner. So again, he's a young kid, but what I like about him, when he picks the ball up, he'll go. His first thought is to get across the defender. So once he's got in front of the defender can't do anything. Because if he clips it, it'll go down, it'll be a penalty, or be a free kick. But again, I second what Brendan said. I've seen some of the decisions that the ref made, and you know, hopefully we're not going to get a referee as bad as that in the game on Thursday.
Do you remember this guy, Josh, at all? Whether you're too young to remember that game.
I can remember it, and specifically, I remember Martin O'Neill's reaction in his interview after the game as well, more than anything. I remember him not being very happy, but it's. To be honest with you,
can we? I think it's a different ref for the second leg.
I think so. I mean, I hope it is. I can't really see it being the same. What annoys me is you hear it on TV, and commentators they say a lot as well. They say, well, it's a European foul, or it's a foul you get in Spain or places like that. When it's a softer decision, but you can. I mean, if that's the way European football is, then fair enough. If a lighter challenge, so to speak, is seen as a foul, then I guess it's down to the referee's discretion. It's a bit. It sounds daft. It's a bit like VAR. It's just down to a matter of opinion. Again, it's a totally exactly. I've got to go exactly what Paul said there. I agree with Brendan. I thought the referee he were pretty poor last week. I thought again he's with the Iheanacho booking. Personally, I sat there in disbelief. I couldn't believe it. But other than that, it is what it is. You get good refs, you get bad refs, so you just set the rough with the smooth, really.
Right. Well, I'm going to round off and thank you both for joining me tonight with some score predictions. I'll kick it off, no pun intended. Unfortunately, I can see them scoring. I don't know why. It's probably the half full glass in me, but I think we'll score more than I'm going for 2-1 to Leicester. Paul, what do you think you can see this going?
I think they're going to win 2-0. The way Leicester defend, and with the GK they got behind him, you know, he's always to pull off a magical save. The only one concern, if he got time, is obviously watch the highlights. A couple of chances they had off corners where people weren't marking, you know. So I think that's one thing where Brendan again he'd have watched it, analysed it, and said, right, on corners you have to stay with your runners because they had a couple of half chances in the game. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
I think we all know about the corners this season, don't we, Josh?
Yeah. I think just quickly going on off what Paul said there about especially the defending from corners. You're seeing a lot of teams do it now, where and I've never really noticed it before this season. Whether or not it's because this season it's being really pointed out by commentators and such, where you're having zonal marking inside the 6-yard box and then man marking on just outside inside the 18-yard box. And I think we've sort of adopted that at times, but sometimes you'll see, I don't know, the likes of someone like Ricardo marking a player like Tyrone Mings, for example, or whatever, and it looks really mismatched. So, but again, I mean, like, to me, thankfully, we've not conceded from a corner for quite a while now. So hopefully that's been eradicated from our performance.
Well, now
anyway.
you've said it, you know.
I'll probably put the kiss of death on us now, so I'll have to touch wood.
You do that a lot. What score you got?
I'm going to go 2-0 as well. I think I agree with Paul. I think we'll get an early goal. I could see them getting a few decent chances because, again, I thought they're a decent side, and we sort of know what to expect now. And then I think we'll get a goal roughly around 75th minute just to put us at ease a bit. But as we know, being Leicester fans, it's never as simple as that. But fingers crossed it is.
Never do it easy. Never do it. If there's a hard way to do it, we do it.
Yeah.
Paul, it's been great to have you on. Would love to be into the next round and have you back on for the next European one if you can make it.
That'd be my pleasure. I would love to.
Brilliant. It's been great having you on, and it's always good to have the professional look on things. We as fans sort of think we know it, but you as an ex-player definitely do know it. You take care, Paul. All the best to your family, and stay safe, and we'll have a chat, and if we get through to the next round.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for having me on.
Thanks for coming, Paul. Take care, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, Paul. See you later, mate.
Cheers, Josh. Take care, son.
Ta-ra, pal.
So thanks there. A quick score prediction here from Brett. He's gone 3-1. The draw, let me just say, if we look ahead, and we've got the draw is at Friday, this Friday and 12 o'clock. Hopefully we'll be in that. We'll be doing a live one. Are you available then, Josh, or is it during the day? Are you going to be working?
I'll be at work, unfortunately, bud.
Right. Well, in some form or another, we will be doing a live stream. These get shorter and shorter because there's less teams in each round. But let's hope we're in it. Let's hope we are in it. Josh, thanks very much, mate.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me, Chris. Really appreciate it, bud.
And we will see you on Sunday.
Yep.
For the Arsenal game, and we're hopefully going to be putting a watch along together for that. So stay tuned for that. They say, you know.
Fingers crossed. It'll be fun. It'll be a laugh.
Take care, mate. All the best.
And you, Chris. Ta-ra, buddy. Look after yourself, pal. Bye, mate.
Bye-bye. So thanks to everybody for coming in there. Thanks to Paul. Great to have him on. Ex-player, I say, for those of us of a certain age, we remember him well. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, we've got the preview show when we'll be joined by Steve Lynix, and we will, hopefully, if he's free, and we'll definitely be joined by Craig, and we'll be looking ahead to the Arsenal game, and then on Thursday, it's going to be the big one. It's all going to be down to 90 minutes. Let's see how we get on. Let's hope we win, and we will take it from there. So see you tomorrow at 7, and see you on Thursday for the game. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for joining in. Whatever you do, make sure you stay safe. Good night now.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.